Hey yo, welcome back, gang. It's your boy King Boss, and we back at it again. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And in today's video, we are going to go over the top 10 teams that I think that you should possibly rebuild. These are all based on teams that don't do so great, didn't do so great last year, and years to come, blah 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 blah. So make sure you let me know what you think of the video. Let me know which team you're gonna choose. Let me know if I missed a team, and also just let me know what team I probably could add or what team you think has the most potential. But let's go ahead and get right into it. All right. So the first team we have is the Anaheim Ducks. The reason I picked this one is because they have a young cornerstone goalie and Lucas Dostal. So, they also have very young talent, Troy Terry, Trevor Zegras. You still got McTavish, who's only 20 years old, and then you got Drizdle. So those are your four pieces that you can actually build around because they all play different positions. You got all the offense, and if you can solidify that defense a little bit more, and get Drizdle some help, that's definitely a 3 to 4 year rebuild. But you could possibly cut it down to 1 or 2. I mean, they are liable but you'll have to play every game with this one. You can't just simulate this one and sit back unless you give them a good amount of help, okay? And so the second team we got is the Arizona Coyotes. They have a good young roster. They have all the pieces for a team that can go into the playoffs, okay? They can definitely make it to the playoffs. They have young goalies, so that's a plus. As far, they definitely need more center help, but you do have Barry Hayton, who's only 23 years old. So, you do have some young pieces to build around. Definitely look at getting them a little bit more offense, in my opinion. And, solidifying that defense just a little bit more. Like, if they just get one more star, they could definitely do something. It's definitely a 1 to 2 year for the Coyotes. And so for our third team, we have the Buffalo Sabres. I always start with the goalies because that's just what I look at. They have a 24-year-old goalie. You could definitely trade him real quick because you also have somebody that's 21. So they're the same overall. So you don't even have to think hard about it. Just go ahead and trade him. Get you a little bit of center or wing help. Maybe even some on the defense because this is a video game. Once it comes to this third and fourth line on this team, you're definitely going to struggle a little bit. So, I would definitely look at getting them a little bit more help. Yeah. But you can, with this team, you can definitely make the playoffs your very first year. But you're going to at least have to play the key games, I would say, with this team. All right. So then our fourth team is the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Columbus Blue Jackets aren't a bad roster, in my opinion. They do need to improve. They have some young talent that needs to be solidified. It could also be a sleeper team because Elvis is still good. He's only 29. Typically with these games, 32 is usually the cutoff before they start to regress even more. And, you have Daniil, who's only 24. But as you can see by the roster that, they do have a good first line. It's the second and third line that'll possibly, that's probably when everything will fall off, I would say, because it's not really solidified. Because honestly, if you want to simulate, 81 and 80 is not a really good thing, but you do have young wings to groom and put them around each other. So then our fifth team is the Detroit Red Wings, okay? They do have a young goalie in Billy. You definitely gonna have to trade him because he's 35. So you just know how that goes. He's 35, so he might stay next year. He might not stay. I would think it's best to get you some while he's there. And you got the young Dylan Larkin, Moritz. He's only 22. He's an 88 overall. And on this one, you actually do have a good crop of young talent. that's all under 30. As you can see, you've only seen a couple 30-year-olds on the team, but I would say that you can definitely go past you probably get to the playoffs and possibly get a Stanley Cup in 2 to 3 years with them. So they're definitely a sleeper team for me, since, they did make the playoffs last year. So I definitely would look into, using them. And then for the 6th team, we got the Montreal Canadiens. In my personal opinion, I think they need one more star on the team, because, they have young talent, a good crop of young talent, but with just one more star, they could possibly get to the playoffs and actually make some noise. Like, he's only 19 and he's a 79 and he's a wing. So, it's kind of hard sometimes to find good wings in this game from time to time. You also got a young goalie in Samuel. You could possibly trade him to get a backup, but that's just my opinion. But I would say they definitely have potential to a 2 to 3 to possibly a 2 to 4 year rebuild if you're looking to win a championship. But like I said, you're definitely going to have to play a good amount of these games based on the lines, because I would say they're going to be very top heavy. So the first line is going to be very good. The second line is going to be a little shaky, but the third and fourth line, that's when you'll see that drop off. All right, so then in our next one, for our next team, we have the Ottawa Senators. Okay, now I said the Ottawa Senators are stacked. This is just my opinion, because you got Stutzel, who was only 21. You got Brady, who was 24. If you look at the team, they have it built up, in my opinion. With the goalies, you're actually probably good on those. You can, ride him out, maybe Anton out, maybe a year or two, because you still got Mats right there. So, you can send him to the minors so that way he can progress a little bit more, and then just let him be your second starter. Based on the lines, I can see you having a good 2 to 3 lines, and I can actually see you actually possibly hoisting that Stanley Cup the first year. But when it gets to the playoffs, you'll probably have to play a good amount of the games. But I definitely think with them, because they'll have a good 2 to 3 lines. So I definitely think the Ottawa Senators, if you want an easy rebuild, the Ottawa Senators are the route to go, in my opinion. And then, so for our 8th team, we have the Vancouver Canucks. I feel like Elias Peterson and Quinn Hughes are possibly the best 2 young players in the game right now. Of course, you're going to have to extend Elias Peterson, but hopefully it'll be a little bit easier, since he's already playing for the team, blah 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 blah. But once you build around them, you're going to get everything together. They already have Thatcher, who's a young goalie. He's only 27, so you can still do some work with that. You can keep Casey. You can definitely look at building through the draft if you want to do it slowly. But I would say this will be probably like a win now team, because with the talent that you got, like I said, once they get over 32, they start to regress, and they start to take a back seat. But I feel like it'll be a very easier rebuild based on what all you have to accomplish. I would say the Canucks and the Ottawa Senators are probably the easiest to go if you want an easy rebuild, just based on plug and play. All right, so for our dark horses, my dark horse is the first one. This is Team 9. It is the Florida Panthers, the runner-ups to the Stanley Cup. They have a good roster in place. I would probably trade Sergey just so that way Spencer can play. He's only 22, and he still got Anthony. He's only 29, so you probably got a good 2-3 years with him. But for this one, it's very easy to do, only because like I said, they made it to the Stanley Cup last year in real life. You still got Alexander for 7 years. I could see you going to the Stanley Cup again in the game in the first year. What you'll probably need to solidify is a little bit more is the wings, which, you know, that's what they struggle with in real life. Offense, you know, they were always, you know, trying to catch up to score. So if you get them a little bit more offense and, you know, help get younger on defense, I could definitely see you taking them, winning the championship, Stanley Cup in the first year, if you ask. But that's just me. And then our last team, our last dark horse will be the team that I'm going to use. It's going to be the Philadelphia Flyers. So make sure, you know, you stick around, like, comment, subscribe. That way you can see how that works out. But as you see, you know, they have a young goalie in Carter Hart, a good backup in Felix. I would say this team definitely needs more offense. This is definitely a 3 to 4 year rebuild, in my personal opinion. But, you know, they have Sean, who's 30. He's the best player on the team, but, you know, you could possibly look at moving him around for somebody younger. Since, like I said, it's not going to be a 1 year rebuild. You also have Morgan Frost, who's only 24. You have good young wings, which I don't know. I haven't played a full franchise just yet, but I know wings have always been essential to the franchise mode, whatever. So definitely look at using them because they're going to definitely have a good 2 lines, and they also have Cam York, who's going to be a good defenseman. And he's only 22, and he's an offensive defenseman, so he could definitely help you out on the offensive side. But that's all I got for you today. Like I said at the beginning of the video, let me know who you're going to choose, if this video was helpful, or, you know, if you're going to stick around, what team you going to use. Hey, I'm out of here, man. Y'all be great, man. Y'all be safe, man. Peace.